Preface. This book is not about abstract philosophy, it's a hands-on guide for practical success. It's for those who urgently need money and want to get rich first, leaving philosophical ponderings for later. It's for busy individuals who haven't had the time or resources to delve deep into metaphysical studies but are eager for tangible results. If you're willing to trust the scientific principles presented here and act on them boldly, you'll undoubtedly achieve wealth. This is because the principles outlined in this book are precise and failure-proof. In crafting this book, I've prioritized clarity and simplicity so that everyone can grasp its concepts. The action plan presented here is derived from philosophical insights, rigorously tested, and proven effective through practical application. If you're curious about the philosophical foundations, delve into the works of the mentioned authors. But if you're eager to put philosophy into action and achieve tangible results, follow the instructions in this book diligently. Chapter 1. The Right to be Rich. No matter how romanticized poverty may be, the truth remains: living a truly fulfilling and successful life often requires financial abundance. It's challenging to reach our utmost potential in talent, intellect, or spiritual growth without ample resources. To nurture our souls and cultivate our talents, we need access to various tools and opportunities, which often come with a price tag. Our development, mentally, spiritually, and physically, is intertwined with our ability to acquire and utilize material possessions. In our structured society, wealth is often the gateway to acquiring these possessions. Thus, the foundation of personal advancement lies in mastering the art of prosperity. The fundamental aim of life is growth, and every living being has an inherent right to pursue its fullest potential. This pursuit includes having the means to facilitate mental, spiritual, and physical development, essentially, the right to be affluent. Let's make it clear, being truly rich isn't about settling for less. No one should settle for mediocrity when they have the capacity to experience more. Nature drives us towards progress and enrichment, and it's our duty to embrace all that enhances the quality and depth of life. Accepting less than we're capable of achieving is a disservice to ourselves. True richness means having everything necessary to live life to its fullest extent. In today's complex world, even basic living requires a considerable amount of wealth. Naturally, each individual aspires to reach their maximum potential, driven by an innate desire to fulfill their possibilities. Success, then, lies in actualizing these aspirations, which often entails leveraging material resources. The pursuit of wealth isn't inherently wrong. It stems from a desire for a richer, fuller existence, an aspiration worthy of admiration. Rejecting this desire for abundance is abnormal. Just as it's abnormal to not desire the means to fulfill one's needs and desires. We live for three purposes: the body, the mind, and the soul. None of these pursuits is superior to the others, each is equally valuable. A balanced life entails the complete expression of all aspects: body, mind, and soul. Neglecting any aspect diminishes our overall fulfillment. We're all familiar with the consequences of neglecting the mind and soul while prioritizing physical indulgence. True fulfillment comes from the holistic expression of our being, body, mind, and soul. Unfulfilled potential breeds dissatisfaction. Desire is the natural inclination to fulfill our latent capacities. Physical well-being requires adequate sustenance, clothing, shelter, and respite from labor. Mental fulfillment necessitates access to knowledge, travel, intellectual pursuits, and cultural experiences. Spiritual richness thrives on love, which poverty often inhibits. The pinnacle of happiness lies in enriching the lives of others through acts of love and generosity. Material wealth enables us to fulfill our roles as partners, parents, citizens, and individuals. Through material means, we nourish our bodies, expand our minds, and nourish our souls. Thus, attaining wealth becomes paramount for a truly fulfilling life. It's entirely justified to aspire to wealth. In fact, it's a natural inclination for any rational individual. Engaging in the pursuit of prosperity isn't just permissible, it's commendable. Neglecting this pursuit is a disservice to oneself, to the divine, and to humanity. Our greatest service to the world is maximizing our potential. Chapter 2. There is a science of getting rich. There exists a science of attaining wealth, and it operates with the precision of algebra or arithmetic. Certain laws govern the process of acquiring riches. Once understood and followed, these laws ensure that anyone will achieve wealth with mathematical certainty. The possession of money and property results from specific actions performed in a certain manner. Those who adhere to these actions, whether intentionally or inadvertently, attain wealth. Conversely, those who fail to follow these principles, regardless of their efforts or abilities, remain impoverished. It is a natural law that similar actions lead to similar outcomes. Hence, anyone who learns to act according to these principles will inevitably become wealthy. This truth is evidenced by the following observations. Achieving wealth is not determined by one's surroundings, otherwise, all individuals in specific neighborhoods would be affluent, while those elsewhere would be destitute. However, we observe both rich and poor individuals coexisting in the same environments, often engaged in similar occupations. When two individuals in the same locale and profession experience different financial outcomes, it indicates that wealth acquisition is not primarily influenced by one's environment. While some environments may be more conducive to success, ultimately, becoming rich is the result of following a certain method. Moreover, the ability to follow this method is not solely dependent on talent. Many talented individuals remain poor, while others with limited talent accumulate wealth. Examining those who have become wealthy, we find them to be average in many respects, possessing no extraordinary talents or abilities. It is evident that they do not achieve wealth because they possess unique talents, but rather because they happen to follow a specific approach. Accumulating wealth is not a result of frugality or thriftiness. Many frugal individuals remain impoverished, while others who freely spend their resources become wealthy. Nor does wealth acquisition stem from performing actions that others neglect. Often, individuals in the same profession undertake similar activities, yet only some achieve financial success. From these observations, we conclude that accumulating wealth is the outcome of following a specific approach. If acquiring wealth is the result of adhering to a certain method, and if similar actions consistently yield similar results, then anyone who can follow this method can become wealthy. Thus, the entire process falls within the realm of exact science. One might wonder if this method is too challenging for most to follow. However, as we've seen, natural ability is not the determining factor. Both highly intelligent individuals and those with limited intellectual capacity can attain wealth. Some degree of cognitive ability is necessary, but anyone with enough sense to comprehend these principles can undoubtedly achieve wealth. Furthermore, success is not contingent upon one's environment. While location does play a role, success ultimately hinges on interaction with people. Being in an environment where individuals are inclined to engage in mutually beneficial transactions is advantageous, but beyond that, environment plays a minimal role. If anyone else in your community can achieve wealth, so can you, and if anyone else in your region can become wealthy, so can you. Similarly, success is not dependent on selecting a specific business or profession. Wealth can be accumulated in any field, while neighbors in the same profession may remain impoverished. While it's true that pursuing a business aligned with your interests and talents is beneficial, success is not solely dependent on this alignment. Success is also influenced by geographical factors. Certain businesses thrive better in specific locations. However, aside from these general considerations, becoming wealthy is contingent upon learning to act according to a specific method. If you are in the same business as someone who is wealthy while you are not, it's because you're not following the same approach. No one is barred from achieving wealth due to lack of capital. Although having capital makes the process easier and faster, possessing capital already signifies wealth. No matter how impoverished you may be, adopting the principles outlined here will inevitably lead to wealth accumulation and capital acquisition. Even if you are the poorest individual on the continent, deeply in debt, lacking friends, influence, or resources, starting to follow this method will undeniably set you on the path to wealth. Just as like causes produce like effects, adhering to these principles will lead to prosperity. If you lack capital, you can attain it. If you're in the wrong business or location, you can change course. By implementing these principles in your current circumstances, success is within reach. Chapter 3. Is opportunity monopolized? No individual remains impoverished because opportunities have vanished or because a select few have hoarded wealth, fencing it off from others. While certain avenues of business may seem inaccessible, alternative paths await exploration. Perhaps the vast railway networks are beyond reach due to monopolization, yet the burgeoning electric railway sector offers ample room for enterprising minds. Moreover, as air travel evolves into a major industry, it promises vast employment opportunities in the near future. Consider, for instance, the plight of a laborer toiling within the confines of a steel conglomerate. While ownership of such a plant might seem an unattainable dream, there exists a pathway to independence. By embracing a certain approach, one can transition out of corporate employment, acquire a modest parcel of land, and embark on agricultural pursuits. Today, there exists significant potential for those willing to cultivate small plots of land intensively. Such endeavors are primed for prosperity. The ebb and flow of opportunity shift with societal needs and evolutionary stages. Presently, in America, the tide favors agriculture and related sectors over traditional factory work. Farmers find greater prospects than factory laborers, and those who supply agricultural needs enjoy a more promising outlook than their counterparts servicing industrial sectors. Abundant opportunity awaits those who align with prevailing currents rather than resisting them. Workers, whether individually or collectively, are not confined by circumstance but rather by their chosen methods. Should American workers emulate their European counterparts by establishing cooperative enterprises and engaging in civic processes, they could assert dominance in the industrial landscape. The working class has the potential to ascend to the position of the ruling class, provided they adopt a certain approach. The principles governing wealth accumulation apply universally. Individuals are not bound by the limitations of their social class but rather by their adherence to certain principles. This book aims to illuminate the path for individual workers seeking to navigate toward prosperity. The notion of scarcity in wealth is a fallacy. The universe abounds with riches. From the vast reservoirs of raw materials to the infinite potential of formless substance, scarcity is but an illusion. Nature, teeming with creative energy, perpetually replenishes its resources to meet the needs of sentient beings. The formless substance, imbued with intelligence and vitality, perpetually seeks expansion and expression. Life, in its essence, yearns for fuller manifestation and greater vitality. The universe, a dynamic and sentient entity, perpetually strives toward the advancement of life. Every facet of nature is designed to facilitate the proliferation of life. Abundance is inherent in its very fabric. Therefore, scarcity only persists when humanity fails to align with the natural order of abundance. One's economic condition is not dictated by the scarcity of resources but rather by one's alignment with certain principles. As will be elucidated further, even the vast resources of the formless substance are accessible to those who adopt a certain mindset and take decisive action. Chapter 4. The first principle in the science of getting rich. In the realm of creating tangible wealth, thought reigns supreme as the sole force capable of shaping the formless substance into material riches. This substance, from which all things derive their existence, possesses an inherent consciousness. When a thought of form is impressed upon this substance, it materializes into the desired shape. The original substance operates in accordance with its thoughts, and every natural form or process is merely the outward manifestation of a thought within it. Our world, therefore, is a product of thought, existing within a universe shaped by thought. Consider the vastness of space and the intricate dance of celestial bodies. These phenomena are the result of the formless substance taking the form of planetary systems, propelled by the thoughts impressed upon it. Whether it be the majestic oak tree or the bustling city, every creation begins as a thought and is realized through the movement of formless substance. However, the process of creation often follows established patterns of growth and action. While a thought of a specific form may not result in immediate manifestation, it sets in motion the forces that will bring it into being along established pathways. For instance, envisioning a particular type of house may not instantly materialize the structure. Yet, by impressing this thought upon the formless substance, one can redirect creative energies already in motion, expediting the construction process. In the absence of pre-existing channels, the house may directly emerge from the primal substance, bypassing the gradual processes of organic and inorganic development. No thought can be impressed upon the original substance without causing the creation of the envisioned form. Man, as a thinking being, holds the power to originate thoughts. Before anything can be shaped by his hands, it must first exist in his mind's eye. Thus far, humanity has primarily focused on manipulating existing forms through manual labor, neglecting the potential to co-create with formless intelligence. The concept of communicating thoughts to this substance, thereby influencing creation, has remained largely unexplored. Our aim is to demonstrate that such communication is not only possible but accessible to every individual. To achieve this, we must establish three fundamental propositions. Firstly, there exists a single formless substance from which all things arise. Despite the apparent diversity of elements and forms, they are merely variations of this fundamental substance, imbued with the capacity for thought. Secondly, thoughts held within this substance give rise to corresponding forms. Man, possessing the ability to think, can communicate his thoughts to the formless substance, thereby causing the creation of the envisioned object. Thirdly, to harness this creative power, one must align with the truth that thought precedes manifestation. By accepting and internalizing these principles, individuals can unlock their creative potential and manifest their desires. These assertions find support through both logical deduction and empirical evidence. By reasoning backward from observed phenomena and forward from the nature of thinking substance, we arrive at these conclusions. Furthermore, practical experimentation confirms the validity of these principles. Ultimately, the efficacy of these principles rests not on theoretical speculation but on tangible results. Should even a single individual achieve wealth by applying these principles, it serves as evidence of their validity. Yet, the true test lies in the consistency of success. Every individual who faithfully applies these principles will inevitably attain riches. To embark on the path to wealth, one must first cultivate the ability to think in alignment with desired outcomes. This involves transcending appearances and steadfastly holding to the truth, regardless of external circumstances. The labor of sustained and consecutive thought is the most arduous task, particularly when truth contradicts appearances. Yet, it is through this labor that one gains mastery over fate and realizes their desires. Central to this endeavor is the understanding that there exists a single thinking substance, pervading the universe and responsive to human thought. By internalizing this truth and consistently impressing desired thoughts upon the formless substance, individuals can manifest their aspirations. To cultivate this faith, one must immerse themselves in the creed of these principles, unwaveringly rejecting doubts and opposing viewpoints. Only through absolute acceptance and unwavering faith can one embark on the science of getting rich. Chapter 5. Increasing Life. You must rid yourself of the outdated notion that there exists a divine being who decrees your poverty or benefits from your lack. Instead, recognize that the intelligent substance, which permeates all existence, is itself conscious and alive. As a living substance, it inherently seeks growth and expansion, just like any living intelligence. Consider a seed planted in the earth. It bursts into life, producing countless more seeds. Life, by its very nature, begets more life. It is a perpetual cycle of growth and multiplication. Likewise, intelligence craves continuous expansion. Each thought begets another, each fact learned leads to the discovery of more knowledge, and each talent cultivated sparks the desire for further development. To know more, to do more, and to be more, one must possess more. Wealth is not merely a desire for material possessions, it is the capacity for a fuller life-seeking expression. Every desire is the manifestation of an unexpressed potential yearning to come into being. The same life force that drives a plant to grow propels us to seek richer experiences. The universal substance, which desires to live more fully through you, desires for you to have all that you need. God, or the divine essence within all things, desires your wealth because through abundance, you can better express your divine nature. The universe itself desires for you to have everything you desire. Nature is not hostile to your aspirations, it is inherently supportive. However, your desires must align with the greater purpose inherent in all existence. Your pursuit of wealth should not be solely for personal pleasure or selfish gain, but for the enrichment of your entire being, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Life is not about hedonistic indulgence but about fulfilling every aspect of your existence without excess. You do not seek riches solely for intellectual pursuits, for fame, or for the benefit of others. While these pursuits are legitimate aspects of life, they alone do not constitute a fulfilling existence. Your desire for wealth should encompass the full spectrum of human experience, enjoyment, exploration, intellectual growth, and altruistic endeavors. Yet, extreme selflessness is no nobler than extreme selfishness. Sacrificing yourself for others does not earn divine favor, rather, it is through maximizing your own potential that you can best serve others. By becoming rich, you empower yourself to make a greater impact on the world around you. Understand that the desire for wealth is not at odds with the greater good. The intelligent substance desires more life for all, and it works toward the fulfillment of this desire. It is not about taking from others but about creating abundance for everyone. Competition and scarcity are illusions. You are not in a race to claim a limited supply of resources. You are a creator, not a competitor. Abundance is limitless, and your wealth is not contingent on the possessions of others. Trust in the infinite supply of the formless substance, and know that what you desire is already on its way to you. Never allow fear or anxiety about external circumstances to cloud your mind. The visible supply is irrelevant, focus instead on the boundless riches of the formless substance. Stick to the fundamental truth that your thoughts have the power to manifest your desires. As you impress your desires upon the formless substance, know with certainty that they are already in the process of becoming reality. Chapter 6. How Riches Come to You. When I say that you don't have to engage in cutthroat dealings, I'm not suggesting that you should avoid all transactions or rise above the need to interact with others. What I mean is that you shouldn't resort to unfair practices. You don't have to take advantage of people to get ahead, but rather, you can give more than you receive. You may not be able to give everyone more in terms of cash value than you take, but you can provide them with greater use value. For example, the ideas conveyed in this book may not be worth the price you paid for it in materials, but if they help you earn thousands of dollars, then you've received immense value for a small cost. Consider this: if I were to sell a priceless piece of art to someone who has no appreciation for it, I would be doing them a disservice. But if I were to exchange it for something they truly need and value, like a tool that improves their life, then it becomes a fair trade. By transitioning from competition to creation, you can ensure that every transaction adds value to people's lives. If you're in business, it's important to scrutinize your transactions. If you're not providing more value to your customers than what they give you in return, it's time to reassess. You don't have to outdo anyone in business, and if your business relies on exploiting others, it's time to find a new path. Ensure that every interaction adds more to people's lives than the monetary value exchanged. Create an environment in your business where employees can grow and advance daily, fostering a culture of empowerment and progress. And remember, just because you're manifesting riches from the formless substance doesn't mean they'll materialize out of thin air before your eyes. If you desire something, hold the belief that it's on its way to you with unwavering faith. Your desires will be fulfilled through the actions of others influenced by the Supreme Intelligence. So, don't hesitate to ask for what you want. Your desires align with the infinite seeking expression through you. You're not limited to modest aspirations, you're meant to live abundantly and enjoy the riches of life. Many people struggle with the idea that poverty and sacrifice are virtuous. They believe there's not enough to go around and feel ashamed to desire wealth. But wealth is your birthright, and you're meant to live in abundance. Take the story of a student who initially asked for just a rug and a stove. As he embraced the certain way and expanded his vision, he realized he could have so much more. He now owns his dream home and continues to manifest greater things through his unwavering faith. Likewise, it's up to you to align your desires with the creative power of the universe and claim the abundance that's rightfully yours. Believe in the power within you, and it will manifest in your life. Chapter 7. Gratitude. The examples shared in the previous chapter should have made it clear that the first step toward achieving wealth is to imprint your desires onto the formless substance. This is indeed true, and you'll find that to do so effectively, you must establish a harmonious connection with the formless intelligence. Attaining this harmonious relationship is of utmost importance, So let's delve into its discussion and provide you with guidance that, if followed, will undoubtedly align your mind perfectly with the divine. The entire process of mental alignment and reconciliation can be summarized in one word: gratitude. First, you acknowledge the existence of one intelligent substance from which all things emanate. Second, you believe that this substance grants you everything you desire. And third, you connect with it through a profound sense of gratitude. Many individuals who lead exemplary lives in every aspect are held back by their lack of gratitude, which keeps them in poverty. After receiving a gift from God, they sever the ties by failing to express their gratitude. It's evident that the closer we live to the source of wealth, the more abundance we'll attract. Likewise, a soul filled with gratitude is in closer communion with God compared to one that neglects to express thankfulness. The more we express gratitude toward the Supreme for the blessings we receive, the more blessings we'll attract, and the faster they'll come. This happens because the mindset of gratitude draws our consciousness closer to the source of blessings, aligning us with creative thought and shielding us from competitive thinking. Gratitude is the key to maintaining focus on the limitless source of abundance and prevents us from succumbing to the illusion of scarcity, which would dash our hopes. There's a law of gratitude, and it's imperative to adhere to it if you wish to achieve your desired outcomes. This law states that action and reaction are always equal and opposite. When you extend your mind in grateful acknowledgement to the Supreme, it's like releasing energy. This energy unfailingly reaches its destination, and the reaction is an immediate movement toward you. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. This is a psychological truth. With strong and constant gratitude, the reaction from the formless substance will be equally strong and continuous. The things you desire will always be drawn closer to you. Notice the attitude of gratitude that Jesus demonstrated. It's what empowered Him. Without gratitude, your power will diminish. But gratitude isn't just about attracting more blessings in the future. Without it, you'll inevitably dwell on dissatisfaction with your current circumstances, leading to a decline. Your attention shapes your reality, and focusing on the inferior will only attract more of the same. Conversely, fixating on the best will surround you with excellence and elevate you to greatness. Our thoughts mold us into the image of what we focus on. A grateful mind is perpetually fixed on the best, thus becoming the best and attracting the best. Additionally, gratitude gives rise to faith. Expecting good things fosters faith, and gratitude enhances this faith. Gratitude is essential for maintaining a living faith, which is indispensable for achieving wealth through the creative method. Therefore, cultivate the habit of being grateful for every blessing and express thanks continuously. Include all things in your gratitude, as every aspect of life contributes to your advancement. Instead of dwelling on the shortcomings of others, express gratitude for the opportunities they create. God continues to work patiently to advance us in industry and government. Be grateful for all, as everything contributes to the alignment of blessings toward you. Chapter 8. Thinking in the Certain Way. Turn back to Chapter 6 and revisit the story of the individual who visualized their future home. This will give you a clear understanding of the crucial first step toward achieving wealth. You must create a precise and vivid mental image of what you desire. You cannot transmit an idea unless you possess it yourself. You must possess it before you can impart it to others, and many individuals fail to influence the formless substance because they only hold a vague and nebulous concept of their desires. Simply having a general aspiration for wealth to do good with it is not sufficient. Everyone harbors such desires. Similarly, merely wishing to travel, experience new things, or live a more fulfilling life is not enough. Everyone has these aspirations too. If you were to send a wireless message to a friend, you wouldn't send a jumble of letters and expect them to decipher it. Likewise, when impressing your desires upon substance, you must do so with a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be specific. You can never attain wealth or activate the creative power by sending out ill-defined longings and ambiguous desires. Review your desires just as the individual described earlier reviewed their future home. Determine precisely what you want and form a clear mental image of it as you envision it. You must keep this clear mental image in mind continuously, much like a sailor keeps the port in mind toward which they are sailing. You must maintain your focus on it at all times, just as a steersman never loses sight of the compass. You don't need to practice concentration exercises or set aside special times for prayer and affirmation, or engage in mystical practices of any kind. While these practices have their merits, all you need is to know what you want and desire it strongly enough for it to remain in your thoughts. Spend as much of your free time as possible contemplating your mental image, but nobody needs to concentrate their mind on something they truly desire. It's the things you don't truly care about that require effort to focus on. Unless you genuinely desire wealth to the extent that the desire is powerful enough to keep your thoughts fixed on the goal, much like a magnetic pole holds a compass needle in place, it may not be worthwhile for you to attempt to follow the instructions provided in this book. The methods outlined here are for individuals whose desire for wealth is potent enough to overcome mental inertia and the desire for comfort, driving them to take action. The clearer and more definite you make your mental image, and the more you dwell on it, fleshing out all its delightful details, the stronger your desire will become. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to maintain your focus on the desired outcome. However, merely visualizing the picture clearly isn't enough. If that's all you do, you're merely a dreamer and will lack the power to accomplish your goals. Behind your clear vision must lie the purpose to materialize it, to bring it into tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an unwavering faith that the thing is already yours, that it is within reach, and you need only claim it. Mentally inhabit the new house until it manifests physically around you. In the realm of the mind, immediately immerse yourself in the enjoyment of the things you desire. Whatsoever things ye ask for when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them, as Jesus said. Imagine the things you desire as if they were already present around you all the time. See yourself as the owner and user of these things. Utilize them in your imagination as you would when they become tangible possessions. Dwell on your mental image until it is clear and distinct, then adopt the mental attitude of ownership toward everything depicted. Assume ownership of it in your mind, firmly believing that it is already yours. Maintain this mental ownership without wavering for even a moment. And remember the importance of gratitude, as discussed in a previous chapter. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it materializes. A person who can genuinely thank God for things that currently exist only in their imagination has real faith. They will achieve wealth, they will manifest whatever they desire. You don't need to repeatedly pray for the things you want, there's no need to inform God about them every day. Use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, Jesus told his disciples, for your Father knows that you have need of these things before you ask him. Your task is to intelligently formulate your desires for things that contribute to a richer life, organize these desires into a coherent whole, and then impress this whole desire upon the formless substance, which has the power and will to grant you what you want. You don't make this impression by reciting strings of words, you make it by holding on to the vision with unwavering determination to achieve it, and with steadfast faith that you already have. The answer to prayer is not determined by your faith while you're speaking, but by your faith while you're working. You can't impress the mind of God by setting aside a special Sabbath day to communicate your desires and then forgetting about them for the rest of the week. You can't impress Him by allocating special hours to enter your inner sanctum and pray, only to dismiss the matter from your mind until the next prayer hour. Verbal prayer is beneficial and has its effects, especially on yourself, as it clarifies your vision and strengthens your faith. But it's not your verbal petitions that bring you what you want. To attain wealth, you don't need a sweet hour of prayer, you need to pray without ceasing. And by prayer, I mean steadfastly holding on to your vision, with the intention of bringing it into solid form, and the faith that you're doing so. Believe that ye receive them? The entire process hinges on receiving, once you have clearly formed your vision. Once you've formed it, it's good to verbalize a statement, addressing the supreme in respectful prayer. From that moment on, in your mind, receive what you ask for. Live in the new house, wear the fine clothes, drive the automobile, embark on the journey, and confidently plan for greater journeys. Think and speak of all the things you've asked for in terms of current ownership. Envision an environment and financial situation exactly as you desire them, and live constantly in that imaginary environment and financial state. But remember not to do this as a mere dreamer and fantasist. Hold on to the faith that the imaginary is being realized and to the intention of making it real. Recall that it's faith and intention in the use of the imagination that distinguish the scientist from the dreamer. Having understood this fact, Now is the time to learn the proper use of the will. Chapter 9. How to use the will. To embark on the journey of becoming wealthy in a scientific manner, you don't attempt to impose your willpower on anything external to yourself. In fact, you have no right to do so. It's morally incorrect to exert your will over other individuals, coercing them to do your bidding, whether through mental or physical means. Just as using physical force to compel people to act reduces them to slavery, so does using mental force achieve the same outcome. The only distinction lies in the methods. If forcing people by physical means is considered theft, then using mental coercion is theft as well. There's no distinction in principle. You lack the right to employ your willpower on another person, even if it's for their own good, because you can't truly discern what's best for them. The science of attaining wealth doesn't necessitate applying power or force to any other individual in any way. There's absolutely no need to do so. In fact, attempting to assert your will over others will likely hinder your progress. You don't need to impose your will on things either, in order to compel them to come to you. That would be akin to trying to coerce God, which would be both foolish and futile, not to mention disrespectful. You don't have to force God to bestow blessings upon you any more than you have to use your willpower to command the sun to rise. You don't need to employ your willpower to overcome an antagonistic deity or to command stubborn and rebellious forces to obey you. The substance of the universe is benevolent towards you and is more eager to grant your desires than you are to receive them. To attain wealth, all you need to do is utilize your willpower on yourself. Once you understand what to think and do, you must then use your will to compel yourself to think and act in accordance with the right principles. That's the legitimate use of willpower in achieving your goals, to use it to stay on the right path. Use your will to ensure that you're consistently thinking and acting in the certain way. Don't attempt to project your will, thoughts, or mind out into the world to influence things or people. Keep your mind focused at home, it's most effective there. Use your mind to create a mental image of what you desire and hold on to that vision with unwavering faith and determination. Use your will to keep your mind aligned with the right way. The more steadfast and unwavering your faith and determination, the faster you'll attain wealth, because you'll only be making positive impressions on substance, without neutralizing or counteracting them with negative impressions. The mental image of your desires, held with faith and determination, is absorbed by the formless and permeates it across vast distances, throughout the universe, for all we know. As this impression spreads, all things begin to move towards its realization. Every living and non-living thing, even those yet to be created, are stirred towards bringing into existence that which you desire. All forces begin to work in that direction, everything starts moving towards you. The minds of people everywhere are influenced to do the things necessary to fulfill your desires, often without their conscious awareness. However, you can hinder all of this by initiating a negative impression in the formless substance. Doubt or disbelief is just as certain to repel things from you as faith and determination are to attract them towards you. Many people who attempt to utilize mental science to become wealthy fail to grasp this concept. Every moment you spend entertaining doubts and fears, every moment spent worrying, every moment consumed by disbelief, sends a current away from you in the realm of intelligent substance. All promises are for those who believe, and for them alone. Notice how adamant Jesus was about the importance of belief. Now you understand why. Since belief is paramount, it's crucial to monitor your thoughts, as your beliefs will be shaped to a large extent by the things you observe and contemplate. It's important, therefore, to control your attention. And this is where the will comes into play. It's through your will that you determine what your attention focuses on. If you want to become wealthy, you must not dwell on poverty. Things are not brought into existence by fixating on their opposites. Health isn't achieved by studying disease and contemplating illness. Righteousness isn't fostered by studying sin and pondering wrongdoing, and nobody ever became rich by studying poverty and dwelling on lack. The field of medicine, focused on disease, has only increased disease, religious teachings centered on sin have only propagated sin, and economic analyses fixated on poverty will only perpetuate misery and want. Don't discuss poverty, don't investigate it or concern yourself with it. Its causes are irrelevant to you. What matters is the solution. Don't waste your time on charitable endeavors or philanthropic movements, Charity only perpetuates the misery it aims to alleviate. I'm not suggesting you should be callous or unkind, and turn a blind eye to those in need, but you shouldn't attempt to eradicate poverty through conventional means. Leave poverty behind you, along with everything associated with it, and make good. Get wealthy, that's the most effective way you can assist the poor. And you can't maintain the mental image that will make you rich if you fill your mind with images of poverty. Don't read books or articles that vividly depict the hardships of the impoverished, the horrors of child labor, and so on. Don't read anything that fills your mind with bleak images of deprivation and suffering. Knowing about these things won't help the poor in the slightest. Widespread awareness of them doesn't alleviate poverty. What truly eradicates poverty isn't saturating your mind with images of destitution but saturating the minds of the impoverished with images of prosperity. You're not abandoning the poor to their suffering when you refuse to allow your mind to dwell on that suffering. Poverty won't be eliminated by increasing the number of affluent individuals fixated on poverty, it'll be eliminated by increasing the number of impoverished individuals who, with faith, endeavor to become wealthy. The poor don't need charity, they need inspiration. Charity merely provides them with a loaf of bread to sustain their wretchedness or offers entertainment to momentarily distract them, whereas inspiration motivates them to rise out of their despair. If you genuinely want to help the poor, show them that they can become rich, prove it by achieving wealth yourself. The only way poverty will ever vanish from this world is by convincing a large and continuously growing number of people to practice the teachings outlined in this book. People need to be taught to become wealthy through creation, not competition. Every person who becomes rich through competition pulls up the ladder behind them, leaving others behind, but every person who becomes rich through creation opens a path for thousands to follow and inspires them to do so. Refusing to pity poverty, dwelling on poverty, reading about poverty, thinking or talking about poverty, or listening to those who do talk about it doesn't make you heartless or unfeeling. Use your willpower to keep your mind off the subject of poverty and steadfastly on the vision of what you want. Chapter 10. Further use of the will. You can't maintain a true and clear vision of wealth if you're constantly focusing on opposing images, whether they're external or imaginary. Don't dwell on your past financial troubles, if you've had any, don't think about them at all. Don't recount the poverty of your parents or the hardships of your early life. Doing any of these things mentally aligns you with the poor temporarily, and it will certainly hinder the flow of prosperity toward you. Let the past stay in the past, as Jesus said. Leave poverty and everything related to it far behind. You've embraced a particular theory of the universe as being correct and placed all your hopes of happiness on its validity, so, what do you gain by paying attention to conflicting theories? Avoid reading religious texts that prophesy the world's imminent demise, and steer clear of the writings of cynics and pessimistic philosophers who predict its descent into chaos. The world isn't spiraling into chaos, it's evolving towards a higher state. It's an incredible process of transformation. Sure, there might be many aspects of current conditions that are unpleasant, but why dwell on them when they're inevitably fading away? Why spend time and energy focusing on things that are being eradicated by evolutionary progress, when you can accelerate their removal by promoting that progress as much as you can? No matter how dire things may seem in certain regions or circumstances, you waste your time and hinder your own chances by fixating on them. You should instead focus on the world's journey towards prosperity. Think about the wealth the world is embracing rather than the poverty it's leaving behind, and remember that the only way you can contribute to the world's enrichment is by enriching yourself through creative means, not competition. Direct all your attention towards wealth, ignore poverty. Whenever you think or talk about those who are poor, consider them as individuals on the path to wealth, congratulate them rather than pity them. Then, they and others will catch the inspiration and start seeking their own way out. Just because I advise you to dedicate your entire time, mind, and thoughts to wealth, doesn't mean you should become selfish or miserly. Becoming truly wealthy is the noblest pursuit you can undertake because it encompasses everything else. On the competitive plane, the pursuit of wealth is a selfish scramble for dominance over others, but when you shift to a creative mindset, everything changes. All forms of greatness and spiritual growth, service, and noble endeavors are made possible through wealth. Everything becomes achievable through the use of resources. If you lack physical health, you'll find that attaining it depends on your wealth. Only those who are free from financial worries, who have the means to live without stress and adopt healthy habits, can attain and maintain health. Moral and spiritual greatness is only attainable by those who rise above the competitive struggle for survival, and only those who are becoming wealthy through creative thought are liberated from the degrading effects of competition. If you desire domestic happiness, remember that love thrives in an environment of refinement, elevated thinking, and freedom from corrupting influences, and these can only be found where wealth is attained through creative thought, without conflict or rivalry. I reiterate, there's nothing greater or nobler to aspire to than becoming wealthy, and you must keep your attention fixed on your mental image of wealth, excluding anything that might obscure or diminish that vision. You must learn to see the underlying truth in all things. Beneath all apparent wrong conditions lies the ever-evolving great life, moving towards fuller expression and greater happiness. It's true that poverty doesn't really exist, there's only wealth. Some people remain in poverty because they're unaware that wealth is available to them, and these individuals can be best taught by demonstrating the path to affluence through your own actions. Others are poor because, although they sense a way out, they're too intellectually lazy to put forth the mental effort required to find and follow that path, and for them, the best thing you can do is to spark their desire by showing them the joy that comes from being truly rich. Still, others are poor because, while they have some understanding of science, they've become lost in the maze of metaphysical and occult theories and don't know which direction to take. They try a mishmash of different systems and fail in all of them. For these individuals, again, the best thing to do is to show them the right path through your own actions. An ounce of action is worth a pound of theorizing. The best thing you can do for the world as a whole is to maximize your own potential. You can serve God and humanity in no better way than by becoming wealthy, that is, if you become wealthy through creativity, not competition. Another thing. We assert that this book provides detailed principles of the science of becoming wealthy, and if that's true, you don't need to read any other book on the subject. This may sound narrow-minded and self-centered, but consider, there's no more scientific method of computation in mathematics than addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. No other method is feasible. There can only be one shortest distance between 2 points. There's only one scientific way of thinking, and that's to think in a manner that leads most directly and simply to the goal. No one has yet devised a briefer or less complex system than the one outlined here. It's been stripped of all non-essential elements. When you embark on this journey, set aside all others, banish them from your mind entirely. Read this book every day, carry it with you, commit it to memory, and don't entertain thoughts of other systems and theories. Doing so will only sow doubt and uncertainty in your mind, leading to failure. Once you've succeeded and become wealthy, you can study other systems as much as you like, but until you're absolutely certain that you've achieved what you desire, don't read anything else on this topic except this book, unless it's the authors mentioned in the preface. And only read the most optimistic views on world events, those that align with your vision. Also, postpone your exploration of the occult. Don't dabble in theosophy, spiritualism, or similar studies. It's entirely possible that spirits exist and are nearby, but if they are, leave them be, focus on your own affairs. Wherever the spirits of the dead may be, they have their own tasks and challenges to overcome, and we have no right to interfere with them. Chapter 11. Acting in the certain way. Thought is the driving force behind creation, the power that sets everything into motion. Thinking in a certain way can bring riches to you, but relying solely on thought without taking personal action is a recipe for failure. Many scientifically minded thinkers stumble on this point. They fail to connect thought with action. We haven't yet reached a stage, even if it's possible, where we can directly create from formless substance without the processes of nature or human labor. Man must not only think but also supplement his thoughts with personal action. With thought, you can attract the wealth hidden in the depths of mountains, but the gold won't mine itself, refine itself, or turn into coins and roll into your pocket. Under the influence of the Supreme Spirit, circumstances will be arranged so that someone will mine the gold for you, other people's business dealings will direct the gold towards you. And you must organize your own affairs so that you can receive it rightfully when it arrives. Your thought sets everything, living and non-living, into motion to bring you what you desire, but your personal activity must align with your desires to rightfully receive them. You must not take it as charity or steal it, you must provide every person with more value than you receive in cash. The scientific use of thought involves creating a clear mental image of what you want, holding on to the purpose of achieving it, and realizing with grateful faith that you will indeed receive it. Don't try to send out your thoughts in mysterious or occult ways, hoping they will do things for you. That's wasted effort and will weaken your ability to think rationally. The role of thought in acquiring wealth is explained fully in the previous chapters. Your faith and purpose positively influence formless substance, which desires more life just like you do. This vision, received from you, sets all creative forces to work through their regular channels, but directed towards you. You don't have to guide or supervise the creative process, all you have to do is maintain your vision, stick to your purpose, and keep your faith and gratitude. But you must take action in a certain way to appropriate what is rightfully yours when it arrives, and to put everything in its proper place. You can understand the truth of this easily. When things come to you, they will be in the hands of other people who will expect something in return. And you can only receive what is yours by giving others what is rightfully theirs. Your wallet won't magically turn into a never-ending source of money without any effort on your part. This is the crucial point in the science of getting rich, where thought and personal action must be combined. There are many people who, consciously or unconsciously, set the creative forces in motion through their desires but remain poor because they don't prepare to receive what they want when it arrives. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you; by action, you receive it. Whatever action you must take, it's evident that you must take it now. You can't act in the past, and it's essential to clear your mind of past events to maintain a clear mental vision. You can't act in the future because it hasn't arrived yet. And you can't predict how you'll act in future situations until they occur. Just because you're not in the right business or environment now, don't think you must postpone action until you find yourself in the right situation. Don't waste time in the present worrying about future emergencies. Have faith in your ability to handle any situation as it arises. If you act in the present while thinking about the future, your actions will be divided and ineffective. Throw your whole self into present action. Don't give your creative impulse to formless substance and then wait for results. If you do, you'll never achieve them. Act now. There's only ever now, and there will only ever be now. If you want to prepare to receive what you desire, you must start now. And your action, whatever it may be, will likely be in your current business or employment, involving the people and things in your present environment. You can't act where you aren't, you can't act where you've been, and you can't act where you're going to be. You can only act where you are. Don't worry about whether yesterday's work was done well or poorly. Do today's work well. Don't try to do tomorrow's work now, there will be time for that later. Don't try to use occult or mystical means to influence people or things beyond your reach. Don't wait for a change of environment before taking action, create a change of environment through action. You can act upon your current environment to move yourself to a better one. Hold on to the vision of yourself in a better environment, but act on your present environment with all your heart, strength, and mind. Don't waste time daydreaming or building castles in the air. Hold on to the vision of what you want and act now. Don't search for something new to do or some extraordinary action to take as the first step toward getting rich. Your actions for the foreseeable future will likely be those you've been performing for some time, but you must start performing them in a certain way that will make you rich. If you're in a business that doesn't feel right, don't wait until you find the perfect one before taking action. Don't feel discouraged or lament because you're in the wrong place. No one is so misplaced that they can't find the right place, and no one is so entrenched in the wrong business that they can't transition to the right one. Chapter 12. Efficient Action. You must apply your thoughts as outlined in previous chapters and begin to take action where you are. You must do everything you can in your current situation. You can only progress by being larger than your current position, and no one is larger than their present place if they leave any work undone that belongs to that place. The world moves forward only because of those who exceed the demands of their current positions. If no one fully occupied their current roles, progress would reverse in every aspect. Those who fall short in their roles burden society, government, commerce, and industry. They must be carried along by others at great expense. The advancement of the world is hindered only by those who don't fulfill their responsibilities. They belong to a bygone era and a lower level of existence, and their inclination is toward decline. No society could progress if every individual was smaller than their position. Social evolution follows the same law as physical and mental evolution. In the animal kingdom, evolution occurs due to an excess of life. When an organism has more life than its current functions can express, it develops organs for a higher level, resulting in a new species. New species would never arise if there weren't organisms that exceeded their roles. This law applies to you as well. Your wealth depends on applying this principle to your own life. Every day is either successful or a failure, and it's the successful days that bring you what you desire. If every day is a failure, you'll never become wealthy, but if every day is a success, you cannot fail to become wealthy. If there's something you can do today and you don't do it, you've failed in that regard, and the consequences may be more severe than you realize. You can't predict the outcomes of even the smallest actions. You don't know all the forces set in motion on your behalf. Much may hinge on your completion of a simple task. It might be the very thing that opens the door to great opportunities. You can never anticipate all the ways supreme intelligence is working for you in the world of things and human affairs. Neglecting or failing to do something small may cause significant delays in achieving your goals. Do everything that can be done each day. However, there's a limitation you must consider. You mustn't overwork or rush blindly into your tasks trying to do the most in the shortest time possible. You mustn't attempt to do tomorrow's work today or a week's work in a day. What matters isn't the number of tasks you complete but the effectiveness of each action. Every action is either a success or a failure. Every action is either effective or ineffective. Every ineffective action is a failure, and if you spend your life doing inefficient tasks, your entire life will be a failure. The cause of failure is doing too much inefficiently and not enough efficiently. It's self-evident that if you eliminate inefficient actions and perform enough efficient ones, you'll become wealthy. If you can make every action efficient, then acquiring wealth becomes an exact science, like mathematics. It all comes down to whether you can make each action a success in itself. And you certainly can. You can make every action a success because all power is working with you, and all power cannot fail. Every action can be made strong and efficient by holding on to your vision while you do it and putting all the power of your faith and purpose into it. This is where people fail when they separate mental power from action. They use mental power in one place and act in another, so their actions aren't successful in themselves. Too many are inefficient. But if all power goes into every action, no matter how mundane, each will be a success in itself. And as every success paves the way for more success, your progress towards what you want and what you want towards you will accelerate. Successful action builds upon itself. Since the desire for more life is inherent in all things, as you move towards a larger life, more things attach themselves to you, multiplying the influence of your desire. Do everything you can each day and do each action efficiently. When I say you must hold on to your vision while doing each action, even the most trivial, I don't mean you have to see the vision distinctly to its smallest details at all times. Use your leisure hours to imagine the details of your vision and contemplate them until they're firmly fixed in your memory. If you want quick results, spend most of your spare time doing this. Through continuous contemplation, the picture of what you want will become firmly imprinted in your mind and transferred to formless substance. In your working hours, you need only refer to the picture mentally to stimulate your faith and purpose and exert your best effort. Contemplate your vision until your consciousness is filled with it, and you can grasp it instantly. You'll become so enthusiastic about its promising future that the mere thought of it will unleash your strongest energies. Let's reiterate our syllabus and bring it to the point we've reached. There is a thinking substance from which all things are made, and it permeates, penetrates, and fills the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing imagined by the thought. Man can shape things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, he can create what he thinks about. To do this, man must shift from a competitive to a creative mindset. He must form a clear mental picture of what he wants and do, with faith and purpose, all that can be done each day, performing each task efficiently. Chapter 13. Getting into the right business. Success in any business relies, among other things, on having well-developed faculties required for that business. Without a strong musical aptitude, one cannot thrive as a music teacher. Lacking well-honed mechanical skills, great success in mechanical trades is unattainable, and without tact and commercial acumen, prospering in mercantile endeavors is improbable. However, possessing these faculties alone doesn't guarantee wealth. There are talented musicians who remain impoverished, skilled craftsmen who struggle financially, and savvy merchants who falter. The various faculties of your mind are tools for the work that will make you rich, but it's crucial to use them effectively. Just as one person can craft exquisite furniture with the right tools, another might produce a shoddy result using the same tools due to a lack of skill. Your mental faculties are tools for the work that will lead to wealth, and you'll find greater success in a field that utilizes your strongest faculties. But there's a caveat to this: your vocation isn't set in stone based solely on your innate tendencies. You can thrive in any business because even if you lack the natural talent, you can develop it. This means you'll need to hone your skills along the way instead of relying solely on innate abilities. While it's easier to succeed in a field where you're naturally talented, success is achievable in any field by developing even the most basic talents. You'll achieve wealth more effortlessly by leveraging your strongest talents, but true satisfaction comes from pursuing what you genuinely desire. Following your passions is essential for a fulfilling life. There's no joy in being forced to do something you dislike indefinitely. You have the power to do what you want, as evidenced by your desire to do it. Desire is an expression of power. The desire to create music is the power-seeking expression and development. The desire to innovate mechanical devices is the latent mechanical talent-seeking expression and development. Where there's no power, either developed or undeveloped, to accomplish something, there's no desire to do it. Conversely, strong desire indicates robust potential, waiting to be cultivated and utilized effectively. Given equal circumstances, it's wise to pursue a business that aligns with your strongest talents. However, if you have a strong inclination towards a particular line of work, you should prioritize that pursuit. You have the right to pursue a career or hobby that brings you joy and fulfillment. You're not obligated to engage in activities you dislike, except as a means to transition to what you truly desire. If past mistakes have led you to an undesirable business or environment, you may need to endure it temporarily. But recognize that it's a stepping stone toward what you want to do. If you feel your current vocation isn't right for you, don't rush to switch to another one. Typically, the best way to transition is through personal growth. While it's acceptable to make sudden, radical changes when presented with the right opportunity, don't act hastily if you're unsure. There's no rush on the creative plane, and opportunities abound. When in doubt, cultivate gratitude and contemplate your vision. Expressing gratitude and staying connected to your vision will guide you in making the right decisions. Mistakes arise from haste, fear, doubt, or forgetting the true motive, which is to enhance life for all. As you progress in the certain way, opportunities will arise, and it's crucial to maintain steadfast faith, purpose, and gratitude. Do your best every day without rushing or worrying. Move as swiftly as you can without hurrying. Remember, when you hurry, you abandon the role of a creator and revert to being a competitor. So, whenever you feel rushed, pause, focus on your desired outcome, and express gratitude for its realization. Gratitude will reinforce your faith and rekindle your purpose. Chapter 14. The Impression of Increase. Whether or not you decide to switch careers, your focus should be on excelling in your current business endeavors. You can transition into your desired field by leveraging the skills and opportunities within your current occupation, applying a certain way to your daily work. Especially in dealings with others, your aim should be to convey a sense of growth and expansion. People inherently seek increase in various aspects of life, and your task is to embody this principle. Your interactions, whether business-related or social, should leave others with the impression that being around you leads to progress and enrichment. This conviction should permeate every action, filling you with the assurance that you are on the path of advancement and that everyone you encounter benefits from your presence. Avoid the temptation to boast about your success. True faith is quiet and self-assured. Be wary of the desire for power over others, as it can lead down a destructive path. Seeking dominance for selfish gain has historically caused suffering and conflict. Instead, focus on contributing to the common good and uplifting those around you. Resist the competitive mindset that pits individuals against each other. Creative action doesn't require ruling over others, it's about mastering your own circumstances and shaping your destiny. Remember the principle of treating others as you would like to be treated. What you desire for yourself, wish for everyone. Chapter 15. The Advancing Man. The principles discussed in the previous chapter are equally applicable to professionals and wage earners, regardless of their field. Whether you're a doctor, teacher, or clergy member, if you can enhance the lives of others and make them aware of it, you will attract success. A physician who envisions themselves as a skilled healer and diligently works towards that vision with faith and purpose will attract a steady stream of patients. Similarly, practitioners of various professions have the opportunity to apply the principles outlined in this book. By mastering the science of personal advancement and sharing it with others, professionals can build thriving practices and congregations. We need leaders in every field who embody the principles of success and can guide others towards it. Teachers, preachers, and healthcare providers who radiate faith and purpose will naturally draw people towards them. The same holds true for lawyers, dentists, real estate agents, insurance brokers, and everyone else. The combination of mental clarity and decisive action outlined in this book is foolproof. Anyone who follows these instructions diligently will achieve wealth. Even wage earners can benefit from these principles. Don't be discouraged by your current circumstances, instead, focus on your vision and act with unwavering faith and purpose. However, don't limit yourself to merely impressing your employer with your work ethic. Instead, cultivate a mindset of advancement and radiate it in every interaction. Those who embody a sense of growth and ambition will naturally attract opportunities for advancement, even if it means switching jobs. Remember, there is a universal force that works in harmony with those who follow the certain way. Opportunities will present themselves to those who are open to them and take decisive action. So, wage earners, study this book carefully and embark on the prescribed course of action with confidence. Success is inevitable for those who think and act in the certain way. Chapter 16. Some cautions, and concluding observations. Many may scoff at the notion of a precise science for achieving wealth, believing that the supply of wealth is limited and that societal and governmental structures must be overhauled before any significant number of people can attain financial security. However, this is a misconception. While existing systems may keep the masses in poverty, it's primarily because the masses fail to think and act in a certain way. If people begin to adopt the principles outlined in this book and move forward with an advancing mindset, neither governments nor economic systems can impede their progress. These systems will inevitably adapt to accommodate the upward trajectory. With an advancing mindset, faith in their ability to achieve wealth, and a determined purpose to do so, individuals can break free from the chains of poverty under any government or economic system. And when a critical mass of individuals embraces this approach, they will compel the system to change, opening the doors for others to follow suit. The more individuals achieve wealth through creative means, the better it is for everyone. Economic salvation for the masses lies in getting a significant number of people to practice the scientific method outlined in this book and attain wealth. These trailblazers will illuminate the path for others, instilling in them a desire for real life, faith in its attainability, and the determination to achieve it. For now, it's essential to understand that neither the government nor the prevailing economic system can prevent you from achieving wealth. By embracing a creative mindset, you transcend these limitations and become a citizen of a different realm. But remember, you must consistently maintain this creative mindset. Never entertain thoughts of limited supply or engage in competitive behavior. Correct yourself immediately if you stray from this path, for when you do, you lose the support of the universal mind. Focus solely on today's work, performing each task impeccably. Don't waste time worrying about potential future challenges unless they require immediate action today. Every obstacle, no matter how daunting from a distance, will either dissolve as you approach it or reveal a way around it. No combination of circumstances can defeat someone who steadfastly follows the scientific principles outlined here. Failure is impossible for those who adhere to these laws, just as it's impossible to multiply 2 by 2 and not get 4. Don't dwell on potential disasters or unfavorable conditions. Deal with challenges as they arise, confident that each difficulty carries within it the solution. Guard your speech vigilantly. Never speak of yourself or your affairs in a discouraged manner, and never entertain thoughts of failure or hardship. Train yourself to see the world as a place of growth and advancement, where seeming evil is merely undeveloped potential. Expectations may occasionally go unmet, but if you maintain faith, you'll realize that apparent failures are often blessings in disguise. Every setback is an opportunity for something greater to manifest. Stay committed to your vision, express gratitude daily, and perform each task with excellence. If you encounter failure, it's because you haven't aimed high enough. Keep going, and something even better will come your way. Don't worry about lacking talent or ability. As you progress, you'll develop all the skills necessary to achieve your goals. Trust in the same source of wisdom that guided great leaders like Lincoln. Make this book your constant companion until you've internalized its teachings. Avoid pessimistic literature and environments that contradict these principles. Spend your leisure time contemplating your vision and practicing gratitude. This book contains everything you need to know about the science of getting rich. Master its ideas, and you'll have the key to unlocking unlimited prosperity. Chapter 17. Summary of the Science of Getting Rich. In essence, the universe is comprised of a thinking substance that fills every corner, capable of manifesting thoughts into reality. By directing our thoughts, humans can shape this substance and bring their desires into existence. However, to do so effectively, one must shift from a competitive mindset to a creative one, aligning with the ever-creative intelligence of the universe. This alignment is achieved through gratitude. By sincerely appreciating the blessings received, individuals harmonize their minds with the formless intelligence, enabling their thoughts to resonate with the creative forces. To materialize one's desires, it's crucial to hold a clear mental image of those desires while maintaining unwavering faith and gratitude. Spending time visualizing these desires and expressing gratitude for their realization is essential. This process impresses upon the formless substance and activates the creative energies. These creative energies operate within the established frameworks of natural growth and societal systems. Following the outlined instructions and maintaining steadfast faith ensures that one's desires will manifest through the avenues of commerce and trade. Action is also vital. Each day, individuals must strive to exceed their current roles, ensuring that every action contributes to their advancement. Providing value beyond what is expected ensures that each interaction fosters growth and abundance. By adhering to these principles, individuals will undoubtedly achieve wealth. The extent of their riches will correspond to the clarity of their vision, the determination of their purpose, the consistency of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. The end.